All right, let's rewrite Tekken 4. Let's rewrite the King of Iron Fist Tournament 4. This is an interesting one. I'm gonna have a lot to say just from the intro alone. And about this. Okay, yeah, the graphics look great. I mean, they're showing what happened in the second tournament. Heihachi threw his son Kazuya off, into the volcano, mouth of a volcano. Okay, yeah, I got that, but wasn't Kazuya wearing his purple Spiral the Dragon pimp suit? Yeah, here's the original scene from the end of Tekken 2. After he actually beat his son and threw him into the volcano. He was wearing his suit. Like, but here, he gets thrown into the mouth of a volcano in his white gi. Like I said, I mean, it's video game logic. You can't take it too seriously. I mean, whatever. So anyhow, here we are 20 years later from that incident. 2 years away from the third tournament to where Jin won. Heihachi shot him, and then Jin unlocked the double gene and threw Heihachi, his grandfather, through the Mexican temple wall and flew off into the moon. Maybe Jin has been missing ever since. Maybe Jin was been living on the moon. Who knows? I mean, it doesn't make sense how the same thing that happened 20 years ago, you're wearing different fucking clothes. I mean, if that's what happened, why can't Jin have been living on the moon for the last 2 years? So what happened is Heihachi is searching for Jin because Heihachi wants that double gene that his grandson has. But Kazuya comes back to gain everything that he's lost, and Heihachi finds a photo of his son Kazuya, or suspicious about the fact that it might be his son, with all those burnt marks. And apparently, Heihachi was right. G-Court brought your son back to life, and he's coming back to gain what he lost. As a matter of fact, Kazuya also wants the double gene that his son Jin has to unleash his full powers and turn his two selves into one. Turn Kazuya and the devil into one person. Yeah. So that's what Kazuya's been doing. He's been doing experiments on himself. So anyhow, let's get into it. So Heihachi is sending his men after Kazuya. And we got new participants in the King of Iron Fist Tournament 4. We got Steve Fox here. We got Christy. We got Craig Marduk. And they can't fucking believe it. Yes, he is still alive. Well, actually, he was brought back alive. I know, I'm a nitpicky bastard. So anyhow, yeah, Kazuya mops the floor with those guys. Just like how Steve was about to mop the floor with this boxer here. And Kazuya makes his intentions known. Yeah, he wants to gain back the Mishima Zaibatsu. So that's when he actually decides to start the fourth tournament to lure Kazuya out and Jin. Because he wants their power, just like he wanted Ogre's power, or he wanted to study Ogre. But anyhow, yeah, he wants Jin's double gene, but Kazuya wants it as well. Kazuya has his own. Kazuya wants the Mishima Zaibatsu back when he was the most powerful man in the world. So yeah, it made perfect sense for Heihachi to start this tournament, even though it really should have been Jin, but Jin went missing. Jin, I don't think Jin even took the money that he earned, the billions that he earned after winning the third tournament. He just flew off because he was betrayed by his family and he lost it. So that by default makes Heihachi the sponsor of the tournament. So now let's get into the tournament itself. Now Kang actually, got Marduk out of jail and gave him a ticket to the King of Iron Fist Tournament 4. So he can deal with Marduk himself because Marduk actually killed his master Armor King in a bar fight. So Kang is out for revenge. Martial Law wants to get his life back together, and the fourth tournament is his perfect opportunity to do so. His restaurant went bankrupt, and Martial Law has went into a drunken stupor. He's been depressed. He's been a depressed drunk. But once he heard about this fourth tournament, he got himself back in shape. I mean, he looks great. I mean, he looks awesome. I mean, for 48 years old, he really got himself back in shape. Now, as far as canon, King was supposed to beat Marduk, but King suffered from low tierritis, being near the back of the booklet. So, yeah, Martial Law is higher up. And Martial Law deserves this victory. So, you know what I did? I had it to where King fought Marduk outside of the tournament. King took his breadcrumbs that he got from the tournament, and King already had money anyway. King from wrestling tournaments, so after he beats Marduk up outside of the tournament, and puts him in the hospital, King comes to the hospital where Marduk is getting treatment at to finish the job. But he looks at the photo of Marduk's family, and King apparently has a conscience, basically. Don't lie, folks. If you were in this situation and you got revenge on somebody, and you saw a family photo you saw a family of their photo of the person you're about to kill, you probably wouldn't kill them. Okay, if you have a soul, this is why he threw the photo on Marduk's chest. Like, this is the reason why I didn't kill you. Thank your family. So Steve has the Mafia after him after winning a high-stakes fight that the Mafia didn't want him to win. So they put a price on his head. So Steve is now competing for the tournament. And we got Christy, who enters the tournament because she's looking for her master Eddie. Where Christie's grandmaster trained Eddie, and wanted Eddie to train Christie while he was in prison. And I guess maybe if Christie enters the tournament, maybe she will find Eddie that way. That makes perfect sense. I mean, she seems to be really in love with Eddie. This was a really good fight, pretty close. Both are top tier, but Steve, Steve beat her. I would have played her ending, Eddie. But that's not canon. That's only if she would have won the tournament, then I would have put that out. But of course, she did not win the tournament. Steve advances. So I guess the thing is, she did find Eddie. It just wasn't during the tournament. So anyhow, we got a Brian who lost the tournament, and I think this is Dr. Boskanovich and Yoshimitsu decided to help Brian, to keep extend his lifespan. Of course, Boskanovich had to put a generator in him because it was just the easiest way to keep him alive. And we all know what happened there. So we got Paul, who ended up being homeless after the third tournament because I guess he was broke and no, he did not win. He was not close to winning here. We're rewriting the series. And Violet was really Lee. It's just, under an alias, a really bad one too. It's obviously Lee, just with purple hair. So this was a really interesting match with these two. Lee is now more flashy. And he really fell off too. He's just not as good as he used to be, like he was in the first two tournaments. And he pretty much got his ass. Well, no. This was actually a really good fight. Really good match between these two. Now, if it was against Kazuya, yeah, he would have gotten his ass beat. But this was a really good match. But Paul gets the victory. And I really wanted to play Lee's ending after this, but once again, canon. It's not canon. He would have to win the tournament in order for me to play that, because I gotta make sense. I gotta make sense out of this whole thing. So, yeah. So Lee gotta send his ass back home. But Lee has been very busy. Well, at least as far as the Violet systems, he did start that. So he's going to be getting money through Combat, I'm guessing, which was created by him, by developers. He got really expensive developers to work on this Combat system, to work on these robots. So even if Lee loses the tournament, well, Combat is still in the tournament. And what is Combat going to do with, what is a robot going to do with money, right? So like I said, that's more money in Lee's pockets. I mean, he told you in his non-canon ending that winning the tournament was not his ultimate goal. So, he wasn't lying. Meanwhile, Lei Wulong is in a situation to where his living girlfriend dumped him because of his workaholic lifestyle. Lei is very dedicated to his work as a detective. And Lei's been suffering blue balls because of that, and wasn't able to concentrate on his work like he normally does. So Lei ended up botching an operation. He ended up botching an investigation. And I think it was revolved around Steve. So he entered a tournament to redeem his honor. And he's in a match with Kuma here. Nice. Kuma entered the tournament to regain his instincts and become a better fighter. But Lei beats him. Lei advances in the tournament. So Julia wants to save the forest, which is why she entered the tournament, to gain the reforestation data. And then we got Law, who's been doing well in this tournament so far. So I guess Julia's an environmentalist, or whatever the fuck you call it. Yeah, I kind of like the old Julia better from Tekken 3. Honestly, although her fighting has definitely improved. She's now she's good. Fighting wise, she's definitely improved. I just like the old Julia better. This whole save the forest rejuvenation bullshit is just, it's kind of lame. Like it's cheesy. But whatever, that's just my opinion. So anyway, this was a very good match here. Like martial law, pretty much doing well, but yeah, Julia's strong in this game. She's top tier, and martial law fails. He was really hoping to win that tournament. I know. He trained so hard for this. He said it was all or nothing, and he loses. However, he did win some money, a lot of money, to reopen the restaurant. But then you got these group of punks that probably started a fight with him on purpose to trash the food at the restaurant. Okay, yeah, I kind of want to talk about that because this was a very good ending. But obviously, those punks in that restaurant, I think they were doing this on purpose to fuck with martial law because, come on, the pepper. I mean, he deserved that uppercut. Let's be honest. The pepper beef is too spicy. First of all, no cussing in this restaurant. Number one, and number two, it's fucking pepper beef. Of course, it's spicy, dumbass. So that's what made me think it was on purpose because of what happened next. Oh man, thank God he had hair. Imagine if martial law was bald and got hit with that bottle in the back of his head. So yeah, he loses his temper. It beats up all the punks at the restaurant, and Marshall trying to goes out of business. And then martial law does his new Tekken 5 move here. So you'll see me execute that in Tekken 5, of course, when I get the martial law. So that's some angry actor. At least he got his dojo still. But those group of punks got him right out of business. He lost the tournament and he failed to revive his restaurant career thanks to those punks. Martial law just can't get a break, huh? So now Combat and Steve advance in the tournament, and now they're facing off with each other. And Combat is like S tier in the rankings because he's like the last unlockable character or some shit like that, and which is I really wish he was like the first unlockable. I'm not a fan of this character Combat, but hey, I mean it's good for Leah, of course, or Violet, whatever you want to call them. So either way, this was a very good match. This was very close, but Combat got the upper hand. Steve was trying to find the mystery of his birth, and Nina comes up. And I guess the hitmen that were after Steve are going to try to assassinate him here, but well, come to find out, it was Nina that actually saved Steve's life. So now Steve runs to find, towards Nina to find out about this woman. That's supposedly her mother. In vitro mother. And I guess because of that seems to be her son, she doesn't want to kill him. Now, Lei, of course, was neck deep into this investigation, and even though, again, Steve tackled him down, Lei already done his job here. Basically, I guess this is how Lei and Steve became friends after this altercation. So basically, Lei helped Steve find out who he was or what happened between his childhood and Nina. And Lei already became famous right at this point for he already took down the guy that hired hitmen to take down Steve. So Lei already solved the investigation. So I guess the police force don't hate him now, huh? 20 years in the making. Now I really wanted this to be canon. This right here, this should have happened. 20 years in the making. Kazuya versus Paul. Paul almost beats Kazuya 20 years ago. Almost, not quite. And now he gets his rematch 20 years later. Paul's already been doing well in this tournament so far. He's got money now. He's no longer homeless. And he actually gets a second chance. But you probably already saw this video and Paul loses again. And this really hurt Paul's spirit as a fighter. So I guess Paul was giving up the fighting life, the life of a fighter, and he decided he's going to spend his days and nights partying. But instead, I guess Paul passes by a dojo, sees a photo of himself, and he's like, wow, I don't, this is what I do. I'm a fighter, you know? What? What? Partying with these sleazy women and dates and that's not me. I'm Paul motherfucking Phoenix. You know what I mean? Like like I said, I guess Paul, after losing time and time again, he had doubts of himself as a fighter and figured, and plus he already got money. He's already been winning in the tournament so far up until he fought Kazuya again. So he's like, I guess, hey, why not party? Hey, I guess I'm done with fighting. So that really would have been a good story canon-wise for Paul. To give up fighting and then he sees some guys training in a dojo. He sees a photo of himself, and he, when he was at his best. He's like, you know what? That's who I really am, Good storytelling. Alright, now it comes down to Huang and Julia. Now, yeah, some people might not be happy about the results of this match, but Huang is in the back of the book. He's low tier. He's not what he used to be. He entered the tournament because he wants to fight Jen again. You already know. I'm wasting your time explaining. But anyhow, he was assigned to a spec ops unit in the army. And he slipped out of the army because he wanted to be in the fourth tournament, but he didn't win. Some people might be disappointed at the fact that Julia beat him here, but hey. So after losing, Huang calls Jen out to the parking lot. So Jen already knew he was going to be here, apparently. So yeah, that's what this is all about. You know, Jin is the only guy who's never had a draw or beaten Hwang ever in a street fight, and that's why that's how this rivalry started in the first place. And Hwang wants to beat him because nobody can beat me. So yeah, it's kind of phony, but I do like the storyline. I mean, it's still better than Asuka and Lily by a long shot. So these two fight in the parking lot, and Hwang gains the upper hand, basically. So then the army, they catch up with Hwang. Him and Jen fight off the soldiers. And after they fight off the soldiers, Hwang wants to tells Jen that he better show up to the next tournament. But after this happens, after these two get away, I guess eventually the unit catches up with Hwang and arrests him. He gets arrested. So I guess he didn't get away for long, huh? So yeah, Jen's been missing through the entire tournament, and this is supposed to be near the end of the tournament. Like this is near the end. And Jen has not competed in a tournament yet at this point. He was just there to answer to Hwang because Hwang kept calling him out. Jen also gets captured by Heihachi, I think, at this point, near the end of the tournament as well. After Heihachi sent the Tekken force after him. So Jen didn't even get a chance to compete in this tournament. So that little brawl that Jen and Hwang had here in this parking lot, it was non-sanctioned, meaning it didn't actually happen in the tournament. So that didn't even count. Up next, we got Combat versus Kazuya. Now we're near the end of the tournament, and Combat and Kazuya is still competing. Who really gives a shit? I mean, it's Combat. I mean, who cares? But he was just ranked so high because he was the last character to unlock, and Kazuya barely beats him. So Marduk finally loses the tournament after getting near the end, and he didn't care about winning anyway. Winning no tournament don't mean nothing. But then this happens. He runs into this wimpy guy, going back to where he used to fight. And this guy claims to be a Valued champion. He looks like a wimpy little reporter. Like, this guy does not look like a fighter. This was just, I guess, sell off Marduk's strength or kind of add some kind of comedy to Marduk's ending or something. I mean, come on. A guy that size wouldn't even approach Marduk to fight him in real life. He would be afraid to death to fight Marduk. He would be asking for autographs. For Marduk's autograph in real life. Come on, bro. So we're near the end of the tournament, the finals, and Jen didn't show up to fight Kazuya. But Jen's been missing the whole time, by the way. So I guess Kazuya advances in the tournament because Jen is missing because the second force was sent to capture him. And Kazuya already knew what was going on. He knew he actually had something to do with this. I know. In the actual wiki story, Heihachi beat Kazuya. Yeah, I know. This is not supposed to be fully canon. It's just if I made the tournaments and went by rankings and unlockables. So yeah, I made Kazuya beat Heihachi, yes. And it actually was a good idea because now, because you can tell him now, take me to Jin as promised. You know, I beat you fair and square. Now take me to my son. It was just funny how after this, Heihachi's like asking him, who are you? Wait, I'm your son that you threw into the volcano. And, yes, I survived, motherfucker. So, yeah, and this leads to the Hamaru fight that happened between Kazuya and Jin. And what a fight this was. Y'all might want to check out this match. Now, I could have just played the arcade mode, the final stage, and just would have been like, oh, hey, I'm just going to win the 2 matches at the Hamaru final stage, play against the computer so I can show the story and not care and not give a fuck about the fight. No. The hell with that. I decided, you know what? We need to see Jin actually fight so I can show off his moves in the tournament. So I made both of these fights, actually, choreographed like I did every other match. Minus Hwang versus Jin, because that was unsanctioned. Whereas this is canon. Or this is canon, but this actually happened in the tournament. So after a really close battle, Jin beats his father. Knocks him out. And now he can deal with his grandfather. And look at him, his father just looking at the corners that Jin created. And now he thinks he's going to beat Jin after what he just did to Kazuya. Yeah, Heihachi really thinks highly of himself. I mean, yeah, he is a strong motherfucker. He's a beast, don't get me wrong. But I mean, dude, your grandson just knocked Kazuya out. How many people can knock Kazuya out? Yeah, you beat him 20 years ago, but I mean, come on, let's be real. Like, bro, after what he just did, would you want to fight Jin? So as you expected, Jin has beaten his grandfather again and tries to kill him, unlocking his double gene completely that Kazuya failed to steal. And Jin envisions his mother, and that's what stops Jin from killing his grandfather once again. And he takes off once again. And Jin and Kazuya are laying there beat down. Which leads us to the intro of the 5th tournament. So it's... Yeah, please, guys, check out those 2 matches. The battle at Hamaru, basically. From, the match between Jin and Kazuya and the match with Jin and Heihachi. I mean, we're talking just... It was a brutal match. I mean, it's as brutal as you're going to get. Those 2 matches I put together is a great way to end off this tournament, in my opinion. I mean, you got Electric Wind, God Fists everywhere. Those 2 matches were just brutal. Especially especially Jin and Kazuya. But still, I'm going to finish off the 5th tournament very soon this week. Or at least put out more matches. starting tomorrow. And as much as I really like Tekken 4, as much as I like this game, as much as I like what I've done with this tournament, because there was, especially the endings, still Tekken 5. But by the time I'm done with Tekken 5, like, y'all gonna be like, this shit is even better, bro. Yeah, I can now. I couldn't figure out which game I like more, but I gotta say, yeah, Tekken 5 is better. This is rewriting Tekken 4. Peace out.